to finish, to go show the good performance end of the fight, you know.
And you dropped him with that head kick in the second. Did you think you were going to be able to get him out of there in that moment?
Yeah, I just told in some media, he happy I don't have big leg, you know. I just catch him with my fingers, and it's good shot, you know. After that, I try to land it some punch, go crazy, you know, don't control my emotion, and almost finish him.
How do you feel physically after the fight?
Round, Ian was saying something to you, kind of trying to give you a hug, touching you on the head. Beginning of the 5th round, he high-fived you. Dana White said he hates that. He wished you guys would just...
Bro, I don't understand, man. This is the fight. This is not something we have to, like, hug each other every round, you know. We're going to war to broke the face, to broke the eye, you know. That's why I respect all my opponents. But Jan, I don't know, he respect too much.
What did he say to you after the fight? Because it looked like he came in.
He just said, I fight today with the greatest fighter. Yeah, I respect him, you know. He's a good guy, very kind, you know. But this is the war, you know. Look my face. I just come to beat everybody. Of course, this is some of them give 1 round or 4th rounds, but I feel I won the 3 rounds, before the last round, you know. But Khabib and all corners say you have to win the last round. And on the last round, I feel I can take him down, do something more, you know, because this 3rd and 4th round not like very tough, and I have like power to finish, to go show the good performance end of the fight.
Like, I think that Ian is a talented guy. If he had even an ounce of killer instinct in that 5th round, you know, he had been beating him to the body. Islam's whole, I think, right side was beat up. His face was beat up. You don't come out and hug and shake hands in the fight. That shit drives me fucking crazy when there's so much at stake. And there's also, you know, a lot of mental, you know, gamesmanship, whatever you want to call it in this game. You come out in that 5th round with a flying knee or something crazy and you try to finish the fight. I think that this is one of those fights that Ian will go back and watch and say, fuck. Rangy, strong guy who has great takedown defense. I mean, if you look at his takedown defense tonight against Islam, it was impressive. I felt like, I think that Ian is a talented guy. If he had even an ounce of killer instinct in that 5th round, you know, he had been beating him to the body. Islam's whole, I think, right side was beat up. His face was beat up. You don't come out and hug and shake hands in the fight. That shit drives me fucking crazy when there's so much at stake. And there's also, you know, a lot of mental, you know, gamesmanship, whatever you want to call it in this game. You come out in that 5th round with a flying knee or something crazy and you try to finish the fight. I think that this is one of those fights that Ian will go back and watch and say, fuck. I felt like tonight was set up for the upset. I felt like the upset could happen tonight with so much on the line, all the records that Islam has, and he's going to break Anderson Silva's record. There's weight classes for a reason. Ian Gary is a big, rangy, strong guy who has great takedown defense. I mean, if you look at his takedown defense tonight against Islam, it was impressive. I think that Ian is a talented guy. If he had even an ounce of killer instinct in that 5th round, you know, he had been beating him to the body. Islam's whole, I think, right side was beat up. His face was beat up. You don't come out and hug and shake hands in the fight. That shit drives me fucking crazy when there's so much at stake. And there's also, you know, a lot of mental, you know, gamesmanship, whatever you want to call it in this game. You come out in that 5th round with a flying knee or something crazy and you try to finish the fight. I think that this is one of those fights that Ian will go back and watch and say, fuck. wish I could do that over again. You know, if he came out and tried to destroy and win that last round, you know, with everything that he had, I think it's a totally different fight. Islam went out, you know, complete opposite now, against a bigger, strong, rangy guy who has good takedown defense, controlled him, shut him down. I don't know if he was in his head and Ian felt like he had to come out and shake hands in the 5th round or whatever, but, you know, Islam did exactly what he needed to do to win that fight. When I went in after the fight, and Ian Gary came over and shook my hand, Ian Gary's handshake is like a fucking vice grip, you know? And he is a big, powerful, rangy guy. And, you know, for Islam to go in and do what he did to him tonight, you know, physical and mental. If you'd have come out of that fucking corner like a raging fucking bull, you know, we might be having a different conversation right now.
Do you feel like Ian's too nice to his opponents? At the press conference, he wanted to build Islam up. He's been nice about him all week.
I think that Ian's a classy guy is what I think. And, you know, he always shows class. He did, you know, before the fight, he goes over and shakes, you know, all the corners' hands and all that stuff. It's great. But when that fucking bell rings, you got to switch. You got to switch all that shit off and go. And you definitely got to do it in the 5th round after the, you know, he fought a great fight against Islam, who, you know, everybody in this room and everybody else is saying, well, we might start talking about GOAT. You don't go shake the fucking GOAT's hand going into the 5th round. You come out to fucking annihilate him. I mean, that just has to be your mindset, in my humble opinion.
UFC 330 just wrapped up seconds ago in the Philadelphia, as the cool kids say, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. First time since 2019 that the UFC held an event there. That was a fight night event headlined by Justin Gaethje versus Edson Barbosa in March of 2019. This time around, they come back with the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, Islam Makhachev, who makes history. 17 wins in a row for Islam Makhachev. He retains his welterweight title. As GC just said, if you were watching the post show, and the watch party, tremendous job by both GC and Rick. A, for the watch party, but B, for like actually doing it in those outfits for the entire time. I mean, the dedication to the bit. Primo, 5th fighter to defend a title in 2 different weight classes. Perhaps most importantly, in my opinion, 17th win in a row, breaking Anderson Silva's record, which was 16 wins in a row. He did not break any title defense records or anything like that.
The highly anticipated fight between Ian Gary and Islam Makhachev has come to a close. And now it's time to reflect on how the experts' predictions played out. Before the fight, many believed Gary's sharp striking, length, and movement would give Islam a challenging opponent, especially if he could keep the fight standing. On the other hand, others thought Islam's wrestling, pressure, and grappling would be too much for Gary to handle if he could close the distance and take the fight to the ground. Tim Welch noted the significant size difference between the two fighters, with Gary standing at 6 feet 3 inches and potentially weighing around 195 pounds, giving him a major physical advantage. Welch praised Gary's ability to fight at range with his long punches, kicks, and movement, but still believed Islam's experience and overall skill made him the favorite. Welch's biggest concern for Gary was what would happen once the fight went to the ground, where he expected Islam to patiently pressure Gary and eventually secure a single leg or high crotch takedown. Alexander Volkanovski, who has faced Islam in the past, warned that Gary needed to avoid accepting the bottom position as Islam's strong pressure and control would make it difficult for him to escape. Volkanovski believed Gary would have moments with his striking, range, and cage work, but ultimately expected Islam to find the takedowns and use them to win rounds. Demetrius Johnson favored Islam Makhachev going into the fight, citing his experience against elite opponents and his high fight IQ.